Hi everybody, it is Max Macintoshes back again for another video. Today's video is going to be a speed build, a little different than what I've been doing in the past. The past few videos I've been doing build challenges, which are quite fun, but I've been wanting to do a base game speed build for you, because base game houses are kind of my specialty. I mostly do base game houses. I just think they're more practical, like when I upload to the gallery. The ones that are base game, more people download because they're more accessible because everybody has at least base game. Except this house is not quite base game. I had a garage in this house and I put in the ones from City Living before I remembered I wanted to do base game, but by the time I remembered, I had built the entire shell, and to fix the garage to make it base game, I would have needed it to be a different tile length for the garage, because I would put windows at the top to mimic the garage, but when there is like one less tile, they would be like right next to each other, and it just didn't work out. So the only City Living object is those garage doors, but everything else is base game. So if you just have City Living, you're set. If you only have base game, you can download this house and you just replace the garage doors with windows or something else. Like, it's a really simple fix. I also really like to do base game houses because not only because they're accessible, but because I like that it limits my choices a little bit. I mean, sure, there are some times when I'm building and I'm like, wow, I really wish I could use this object from Parenthood or Jungle Adventure or whatever pack, but it's really nice to have less choices because it's less time I have to scroll through picking things, because I already spend ages picking out swatches. Like some of the swatches for the furniture or wallpapers, I literally was looking at the footage in real time, and like I sit there for 3 minutes picking a swatch for a chair. Who does that? I'm so indecisive, it's ridiculous. I cut out a lot of that indecisiveness, and I think I cut out quite a bit of the landscaping in the front here, because I think I had over 3 hours of footage building this house. I mean, it is quite big, but I'm also a slow builder, so it's a lot of footage. But I want to say at least 2 hours of it was just the shell of the house and the landscaping. It took me so long. It's just because I'm not very comfortable doing the outside of the house or the landscaping. I don't really know what looks good. The landscaping was really hard for this house too, because there was like a slight incline to the garage. I used a little terrain, and it always goes downhill when I use terrain. I don't know why I even try. I never can do it well. Luckily, the outside of the house was pretty easy for me to pick because I was basing it off my friend's house. And I would show you a picture, but that seems weird. But this looks like my friend's house somewhat. The landscaping doesn't really at all, but like the brick thing I was going for was based off her house. The landscaping was just on a whim. I just kind of started throwing stuff down and hoped it looked good, and then it didn't look good, so then I added more flowers. It still didn't look good, so I just kept adding more and more, and eventually I think it gets so cluttered that you begin to believe that it looks good even when it doesn't really. I mean, I don't think it looks terrible, but I don't think it looks awesome. It doesn't look like award-winning landscaping or anything, but it does the job, I guess. Get some color in there, get some flowers in there. Everybody loves a bit of colorful flowers in the front yard. And you can see all the flowers I use quite a bit. I don't even really have a color scheme going. I almost always use blue, yellow, white, and pink. Do those colors go together? I don't know. I don't care. I just try to get through landscaping. I'm not a fan of the landscaping, but I think it looks worse when I don't do landscaping. So it's like I either do no landscaping and it looks weird, or I do landscaping and it looks weird. But there is a chance that one of these days my landscaping will look fantastic and it will pay off. Just like these YouTube videos that I've been doing lately, the more you practice, the better you're gonna get. Trial and error. You're not gonna be good on your first get-go. You gotta keep practicing, you gotta keep trying, and eventually you'll get there. So I've talked through the entire outside. That's a good one for me. I'm not very good at talking. I'm not much of a talker. I'm more of a listener. I don't have many thoughts. I can't even think of words half the time. I'm not much of a talker. We're doing so good so far. So anyway, we can see that I did the floor plan here. Kind of missed that bit. It was kind of difficult to do the floor plan in this house because the house was just so big. I didn't even think about the size when I was building it. I was just building it off the reference picture that I saw of my friend's house, and I was just going off that, and then I built it and did everything on the outside, and then I went inside and I was like, oh my god, this house is so big. And while in gameplay I do like to live in a large house in The Sims, I don't actually like to build large houses, because when I play for my personal gameplay, sometimes my houses are really ugly, because I don't care if they look good, because I'm just playing for me. But like in a build, obviously I want it to look good, but it's so hard to make big houses look good. The layout especially is hard, like the kitchen and the dining room area in this house here. The layout is very oddly shaped, and it was really hard to define the spaces, and there's kind of like a hallway next to the kitchen to lead to the dining room, but it's not like a hallway, it's kind of just extra space. I don't know, maybe I'm being too critical. I mean, it looks fine, it's just looks a bit weird to me. I think it's because it's so big. Like, to me, the kitchen looked really empty. I put all my normal decorations that I do when I do base game, and it looked so empty. And I think it's just because there's so much counter space, because the kitchen is ginormous. But I mean, again, it looks good. It looks fine. I would have changed it if I hated it, but I just gotta remember for next time, tone it down. Build a smaller house. Nobody needs a house this big. I mean, I could have probably tried a different layout too, but I didn't, and this is what we got. And it turned out alright. It was just stressful in the moment, because big houses are tricky. Would always recommend building small houses. If you're just starting building, you should start with a tiny house, and then once you feel comfortable, you can get a little bigger and a little bigger. And then eventually, you'll get to a size that you're like, no, that's enough, that's too big. Like, for me, 64 by 64, not a huge fan of that. I think I built a few things on 64 by 64. I only can remember one for sure, but it's always so difficult. The 164 by 64 that I built was for a Little Simsy Shell Challenge, I think. Or a Little Simsy Shell Challenge, not Little Simsy, Little Simsy. And it was for one of the Justice for Cow Plant shells, and so I made this huge garden cow plant sanctuary on a 64 by 64 lot. I think I made the house floating, like it was on a cloud or something. I don't remember. It was really weird, but it was a lot of landscaping and a lot of cow plants and less about the house. But it was a lot. I probably did it to myself because of all the landscaping and terrain, but it was not a good time. I don't really like 64 by 64 lots. Far too big. This one's on a 40 by 30, so it's kind of one of the bigger ones. I think there's a couple bigger. There's like a 50 by 50 too, right? But yeah, this one's it's a bit much. I prefer building on 20 by 30 or 30 by 30. Just a nicer size. And it forces me to build a smaller house. Like, I think the problem here too was that I was on a 40 by 30 lot, and so I was like, oh, I have room to make it bigger. Not using my brain, thinking, wow, you don't want to make it bigger. That'll make it so much more difficult. But anyway, I'm been enough complaining about how I don't like big lots. Nobody wants to hear about that. So for the dining room and the bar area here, it turned into kind of a party zone because there was that extra space. I put the bar in there. I don't like how the bar doesn't have a matching swatch to the counters I picked in the kitchen, because it's white counters with that color wood, but there isn't white counters with that color wood in the bar. I don't understand that. Something's just not clicking in my head why that decision was made. Maybe there was a good reason for that, maybe there wasn't a good reason for that. Who knows? I try not to think too much about it because I don't need to be nitpicky and complaining about things because it'll drive me mad. I think we're doing the bathroom here, and then we're going to get to the living room, yes. So, the living room, quite big, which is, again, difficult, that's the theme here. But I wanted to talk about this furniture. Furniture I used in the living room. It's my favorite furniture. Quite like it. I feel like it's pretty basic, and I'm pretty basic in my furnishing. I mean, where I live, I feel like all the houses are basic suburban. All the furniture I've seen in people's houses is basic suburban. I've never been to like a massive mansion with fancy furniture. How many people have anyway? I don't know. I haven't even seen pictures of fancy houses or modern houses. I just know this basic traditional style. So I like always use this furniture. I think it's quite nice. I like the blue swatches the best. I think there's a few of them. There's also a green swatch I quite like. Not as good as the blue, but green's good. I think there might be a tan one I like, but that's boring. I like a bit of color. Sometimes if I go tan or white or black, then I never add any color, and then it looks silly being all one color. But if I add a blue couch, then I'm just thinking, wow, this is a blue couch. Blue is a color. We should add more color. Let's add green. Let's add orange. So I think it helps out. Although there is the difficulty of then making everything blue or everything one color. I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts apparently. I just am rambling. It's because it's very hard to do a voiceover, so I'm just saying every little thought that goes in my head. You're welcome. Hope you enjoy. It's really hard, I think, to find clutter items in base game. Not hard. That's not the right word. More like I think of things I want in other packs, and then I'm like, dang, I wish I had this thing from Jungle Adventure. I wish I had this thing from City Living. But then I remember, no, not too loud. Only base game. You can make a nice base game house. Like, I think mine looks nice. Was a struggle, but it looks nice. But you know, sometimes you wish you had other things, especially when you have a lot of the packs like I do. I don't have all of them, but I have quite a few. Given my life to EA, basically, spent so much money. It's disgusting thinking about how much money I've given EA. I don't like it. I don't like to think about it. If you want to think about it and suffer with me, go ahead, but it hurts. It hurts deep. And I don't think I bought much of anything full price. I think almost everything I bought is on sale. I know I bought University full price. Or maybe it was given a gift to me at full price. I don't know. But then I know I got Outdoor Retreat as a gift, full price. I think I bought a stuff pack for full price. Oh, I bought Tiny Living for full price. One of the best packs. Kind of ridiculous that it's a stuff pack, but honestly one of my fave packs. Did I buy anything else at full price? I'm trying to think. City Living, no. Cats and Dogs, no. Get to Work, no. Get Together, no. Island Living, no. No, I didn't buy Seasons full price either. Let's see. Eco Lifestyle, no. Definitely did not buy that full price. I didn't buy Vampires full price. I didn't buy Jungle Adventure full price. What other packs are there? Spa Day I didn't. I can't even remember all the packs. Parenthood I don't think I did either, and I really like that pack. I know I didn't do Laundry Day. I didn't do Romantic Garden. I think the only ones I've bought full price were I bought Tiny Living full price, and then I was gifted University and Outdoor Retreat, which were bought full price. But everything else was either bought on sale or in that bundle where you get money off. Because I just cannot rationalize paying full price for these packs. Because, like, I really enjoy some of them, some more than others, but it's so much money. And to me, not having that much money, I can't pay full price for a pack that is, like, I don't feel like it's worth my money. University, I would have bought full price if someone did buy it for me. Outdoor Retreat, probably would not have bought full price. Tiny Living, I bought full price and don't regret it. But, like, a lot of them, I can't, like, thinking about spending $40 on Get to Work, like, I can't even process it. Like, why would you spend that much money on Get to Work? Like, it's a fine pack, I guess. The careers are, like, I'll play them for a little bit and then I'm like, forget about it, that's enough. There's that one plant that I like from Get to Work. Is that all I like about Get to Work is that plant? There's gotta be something else. But anyways, sometimes I just think about these packs like this, and I'm like, why would anyone pay full price? Maybe if you were there when it came out, it would be more exciting, because I just started playing The Sims, like, early 2019, or Sims 4 early 2019, played Sims 3 for, like, years and years, as long as I can remember, which, you know, is not that far back. I probably played Sims 3 almost the whole time it was out. I don't think I got it when it was released, but soon after. But anyway, I've got way sidetracked. I've talked almost this whole video through just talking about random things. Talk about this build a little bit, I guess. Should you talk about the build in a voiceover for a speed build? Probably. So I did 2 kids' beds, 2 toddler beds, and 2 double beds, I believe. And the kids' room is purple and greenish theme. It's like a mint green. Yeah, I always do kids' rooms in my builds because I always play with families. I love to play the family life, excuse me. I can't speak, losing my mind. It's 3 a.m. But anyway, I like to play the family life. I don't know what else to do in the game besides have kids. And toddlers are a piece of work, so I mean, it keeps me entertained and focused if I have to, teach all these skills to the toddlers. So I enjoy that. Kids are... what do kids do? It's a good question. There's scouts, but that's pretty easy. I mean, I do them. Not that exciting, though. They can paint pictures. Gain some skills, I guess. What do teens do? Teens are basically adults that go to high school, so they can just gain skills, I guess. I don't know. I just need that family life. Toddlers give me something to do. I enjoyed family life more in The Sims 3. I don't know exactly what the difference is. Maybe it's because there's more things for the kids to do and the teens to do with like slumber parties and boarding school and after school activities. Sims 3 family life, pretty good. Love to see it. I should play The Sims 3 more. I haven't played it in a hot minute because it makes me sad and stressed because it doesn't run very well. I wish it ran better. It's so good. Can they like revamp it so it runs properly? Like, I would love to play on the Island Paradise world. I can't remember what it's called. But that island, I cannot play on it. It does not function on my computer. And I wish it would, because I love playing in that world. I love all the deep sea diving. I love finding the other islands. I like the houseboats. I like traveling in the water taxi. But I just can't play it. There's a lot of things about Sims 3 that I really enjoy. Maybe if I do another voiceover, and I'm brave enough to do another voiceover, I'll talk about how much I love The Sims 3, all my favorites, all my not favorites. Or that could be a whole video. I don't know. It might be weird to talk about in a whole separate video when I don't do face cam, because then I don't even know what I would be showing on the video if I didn't have any footage. But I just can't do face cam, because I don't have a good video thing to show my face, because all I have would be my laptop camera, and that is terrible. It's horrible quality. It looks like it was taken on a potato phone in like the 1900s. It's not good. And also, I'm very self-conscious. I don't want to look at myself when I'm editing a video. Sometimes it's hard just to hear my voice for that long. Maybe one day if I get a good camera, I can overcome my insecurities and do face cam, but that's not today. I think we're getting to the end of the video here. This is the last bedroom we're doing, which I imagined as the main parent's bedroom. It's got a desk. It ends up having some skill building objects. I think there's a guitar and a violin. I don't think it's in the video because I forgot, but it's definitely in there if you click on it on the gallery, which of course this build is uploaded to the gallery like almost every single one of my builds, except for maybe some build challenges. But I try to upload everything because people may like it, someone may want to download it, and I'm here for the people. You know what I mean? So my Sims gallery username is Macintoshes, spelled the same way as in my name on here. It was also spelled in the description, I believe. And also, while you're in the description, feel free to check me out on other social medias. Links to those are also there. So I think we're coming to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. If not, well, thanks for watching anyway. If you did enjoy, please leave a like, comment something down below, and subscribe for more videos like this. I will see you all in the next video, for whatever that might be. Bye.